rising Venus signs. Welcome to your timeless path of true love reading. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. Professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998. Author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, available on Kindle. Link in the description box. Creator on Patreon. Patreon.com/Drawing the Circle. Expectro Patreonis. I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hi. Time to do the Path of True Love readings. If you're new to my channel or new to this series, it is a timeless read, and there is a link in the description box to a YouTube video, a preface to the Path of True Love readings. Goes into it, and I had to say it every single time, so I just made a video about it. Virgo that I am, fellow earth signs. It is your path, your healing journey, your hero's journey, your spiritual, path, all of that stuff through the lenses of the relationships in your life, the soul contracts, and all that jazz. Twin flame, soulmate, we're not going there, but we are going to be using a classic Celtic Cross with some other cards thrown in to see where you are on the GPS point of view on the path of true love. Sometimes they're romantic, sexual, sometimes they're not, and ultimately it doesn't matter because we have more than one relationship in our lives, and it's all about becoming the true love that we truly are, right? Just like when they asked Michelangelo how he sculpted the David, the statue. I mean, not the guy. Although we might have done that too. I don't know, I wasn't there, or maybe I was. He said, I didn't create the David, God did, I just chipped away the excess marble. Path of True Love pretty much chunks off that excess marble. Perfect for earth signs, right? Good metaphor. Very, very good metaphor. So it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, because even if this is a parental thing, and I know everybody wants the romantic sexual stuff, but heal your relationship with your parents and watch however, heal yourself in any of your relationships, because you are the common denominator. It shifts the electromagnetics. What you attract and what you repel a hell of a lot more than a vision board. But the course of true love never did run smooth. Billy Shakespeare dated him. So let's get up in this gig. Both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can, as well as do check your other signs, because, one of them might be a romantic, sexual, and your sun, moon, rising, Venus, blah, blah, blah. Let's do this. Please, take a nice deep breath. Because I got my gods and my goddesses with me today. I already ran errands. It's a Monday at the time of this recording. So here we go. As I call upon the angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of the path of true love, and the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. Please, I need 2 Caroline Mace archetype cards to represent the 8th chakra dynamic for person number 1, person number 2. They're going to have to figure out which one you are on the path of true love for the Capricorn Collective and Cross Watchers. So what is the dominant archetype for the person in the cover position? I'm going to put that face down. And who is then meeting them, crossing them on the path, on the hero's journey, healing journey, spiritual path of true love. I cheated, but I'm allowed to. I'm my own boss. I sanction it. We've got the Alchemist and the Judge. Now that's in the title, so I'm sure the Alchemist is going to certainly bring people to this reading just for that. But let's talk about this. Let's start with the Judge. I'm going to read what's on the card, the shadow attribute and the light attribute in a minute. But this is a wisdom family archetype, and the Judge is different than the critic or the mediator, right? We'll get there, but it is definitely a wisdom family archetype. The Alchemist, however, is one of those rare archetypes that splits families. In other words, it has more than one family. The wisdom family, it shares, but it's also the divine family archetype, family of archetypes. So, think about what an alchemist and a judge could do together. But it's all about the shadow to light. The shadow is what's being healed. The light is what you're shooting for. And my youngest cat, Melchior, has, like, I was getting ready to do this reading, saying the prayer, doing the breath work, and he came and just sat on my knee, doing the Batman pose off the side of the building in Gotham off my leg. There he is. Come sit. Here, come sit, baby. Children, what are you going to do? You live alone, you work from home, you have kids. What are you going to do? So let's look at this. I'm getting head bunkies on my feet. There he is. There he is. Well, you can barely see him. This is his tail, just so you don't think I'm lying to you. I don't lie. I've gotta. If you get up on this table, young man. The Alchemist, the shadow attribute is the lead, the toxic, the thing that was written into this lifetime for you to heal, alchemize, whatever you want to call it, from lead to gold, shadow to light. The shadow attribute, misuse of the power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. See, that's why it's a divine family archetype. So if you're using your powers, right, misusing them, it should be, then that's part of it. And, well, we've all done it. Dabblers, where you learn, right? That's how you learn. The light attribute, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom, right? Base metal to gold. So what is a base motive? Food, clothing, shelter, right? Clean water, healthy food, those are base motives. But, you know, in terms of basic, like your basic stuff, but base motives in terms of money, in terms of sex, in terms of power over in the misuse instead of power shared. Right, so we could talk forever about that. And The Alchemist by Coelho, I highly recommend. Good book. The Judge, however, also, like I said, a wisdom family archetype, but only if in the wisdom family archetype, the shadow attribute, offering only destructive criticism, and that's where we get the real shadow critic. But the critic really has its own archetypal positioning, chemistry. Misusing business, legal, or criminal authority, right? So you have that power, like, well, I mean, we see it everywhere. Just totally, it's like bad judgment calls, but usually consciously done. The light attribute, balancing justice and compassion, and that is very Kabbalistic. Mercy and severity, the two pillars, the white pillar and the light pillar and the dark pillar. That's why I have my chairs this way, the High Priestess card. Managing the fair distribution of power. So again, yes, this could be romantic sexual, but it also could feel very much like either a parental relationship or, you know, work. It could be anything. So that's what we're going to do. The Daughters of the Moon Tarot, the next 4 chakras down. Now that we know what the 8th chakra is, just keep your eyes on that prize of the light attribute, whether you are the alchemist or the judge in this, and there may be mirroring. This is what gets affected electromagnetically next. The crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the internal world, the feminine energy, the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, a goddess deck. What could be better? My favorite deck. Breathe. Oh, yeah. As I call upon my goddesses of earth, the sign of Capricorn, powers of the north, please, 10 cards in clarity. Basic Celtic Cross here. Give us a GPS version for the Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video, receiving this reading on the path of true love. We've got an alchemist, and I've got cat hair on my nose. Please leave the card in my hand. What's going on, heart, third eye, crown, for that alchemist? Thank you very much. The Aquarius card. Now, this is the Crone of Blades, which would be the Queen of Swords in traditional tarot. When it's a court card on the inside, it's more of an internal dynamic. So we are looking at very much a third eye thing going on here, right? Element of air. thought, but seeing things from the GPS point of view. Ixchel, Eagle Woman, also connected with the Jaguar, what am I, Hall and Oates? Flying above, carrying scissors. You're not supposed to run with scissors, but apparently you can fly with them if you're a goddess. And so from that stratosphere, she sees what needs to stay, what needs to go, what works and what doesn't. Not bad for an alchemist, because the 11th house, Aquarius 11th house, is also about humanitarianism, is also about like charities and causes, and we're all in this together. But it is also very Mr. Spock. Live long and prosper, right? Logical, very, very fixed air, not mutable or cardinal, like Gemini or Libra, but fixed. So that stratospheric frozen air, seeing this from a higher place, this could even include higher visions. How about that Judge, my goddesses? What's going on? Heart, third eye, crown. Leave the card in my hand, the one that feels best. Give them some clarity here. Well, okay. The earthquake. The 5 of Pentacles. Now, when it's inner, it may not necessarily be ghosting, right? I get it. Right away, it looks like someone's locked out in the cold. But it is about being shook, right? Earth on the inner is the wisdom that you've gained from experience in the world by taking action. Physical world element of earth. And that can't be taken from you, but it can get shook. And it's supposed to get shook. This card's been popping up. Now, how long does an earthquake last? Somebody once said to me, I don't know, 2 minutes? I'm like, that's a long-ass earthquake, depending on Richter scale. 10 seconds of high Richter, devastating, desolating, horrible, right? But when it's inside, it can absolutely be that a foundation of something that you really, really learned has been challenged. And for a judge to deal with that, right? To kind of get... Now, that is not always necessarily a bad, good or bad is a judgment call, but a negative, let's put it that way, or even an uncomfortable situation. It can be that something really shifts, that brings you into then the 6 of Pentacles, that equal balance. So let's see. My goddesses, what's at the core of this, please? The subconscious influences for both of them. Help them out here on the path of true love. Well, they may be aware of if they're really intuitive, if they're really aware. But this might be what's coming up underneath that earthquake. And it is the Ace of Wands in traditional tarot. The One of Flames in the Daughters of the Moon. The keyword, creation. So this is an interior spark, a seed of fire, what someone yearns for. I'd say what they both yearn for, burn for, what their hearts desire. And an initiation, but it's underground. I say underwater. So water is the element of the subconscious for me because of the river Styx. The river Styx is how you get to the underworld. Well, the upper world, conscious mind. River Styx, subconscious. Underworld, unconscious mind. Carl Jung, white courtesy telephone. So, you know, there is an impetus. There is a desire. There's a seed here. Now, there is an extended read for this on Vimeo and on Patreon. And all levels of my subscribers have access to the extended reads, past, present, and future. But we are going to do the Mythic Tarot for the lower 3 chakras, so you get to see it from the inside out, or you from the outside in. Looking at this as well as we're going to Tarot Land. Blue Angel Oracle, Kuan Yin Oracle, Blessed Bee Oracle, Divine Animals Oracle, and the Lovers Oracle for a simple timeline, past, present, future on the path for whoever's watching this. So, breathe. To make the subconscious a little more conscious, please, what is behind them on the path of true love? Just leave that card in my hand for this alchemist and this judge on the path of true love. Oh, Spider Woman, Life Weaver, Wheel of Fortune. This is definitely woven in. I mean, everything is. There's only one quantum unity, right? Nothing's outside of it. Sorry, it's not quantum unity unless it's everything. The Tao in scientific language. So we're looking at this, the threads of fate. And destiny, divine timing, something that's really written in. Now, inside, because we can understand that to an extent in the outside world, but there's only one divine unity. Yin and yang essentially are one. They flow from the same source. So there are things in the past here that you really, I'm going to say, I would advise you looking at differently, particularly if you are in the alchemist position, to fly above it and really see that, oh my God, all of that was there to make me better. Like particularly in relationships, maybe even relationships with this person in particular. Right? Because an alchemist and a judge, I mean, that's a lot of mind going on there. That's a lot of wisdom. But knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. So look over your shoulder, perhaps briefly, not to dwell on the past, but to kind of look back and say, you know what, I did the best I could. And I can judge it. Others can. They're going to anyway. But it was all my fate. And the question is, when you're handed fate, do you suffer your fate or do you manifest your destiny? That's the alchemy, led to gold, right? And you do that on the hero's journey. The hero isn't the same at the end as they were in the beginning. It's not, right? It's the point. It's totally the point. And name your hero from Dorothy Cale to Kal-El or Krypton. On and on and on and on and on. Luke and Laura. I know I made somebody giggle on that one. I am 53 years old, and yeah, I know I don't look at things. What's crowning this? This is why I get away with so much, because the gods really enjoy my sense of humor, apparently. They're like, you're fun. Please, what crowns this, my goddesses, for the Capricorn Collective and the Cross Watchers hovering above this like a signal in the air, ready to be grounded? Excellent. The universe, the world card, Shakti the Life Dancer. And I will recommend, Google the word Shakti, S-H-A-K-T-I. You may come across Shakti Gawain, which was the first metaphysical book I read when I was in high school. It's a good book. First 40 pages, like Metaphysics 101, is so good. But this is literally the end of a cycle. And I'm going to say, for the Aquarian energy for the alchemist, if they can get up, they can see. That's what's hovering, not the revelation necessarily of the judgment card, but really the closing of a cycle. Major Arcana, Heart, Third Eye, Crown is all four of them, where, for example, this is very element of air. Aquarius, this is very element of fire. This is very element of water, therefore mind, third eye, throat, and to an extent the heart with the element of earth. This is all four of them coming full circle. So it does make sense that the alchemist could very much be getting to that higher mind, that higher place, that, you know, not so much the emotional aspect of peace, love, and understanding, but really seeing the possibility as a result of a higher perspective. Your altitude determines your attitude, and your attitude develops your altitude. And if you put that in aviation terms, it really makes sense. So, this is key. How this manifests, we don't know yet, though. But it is available, right? And so the choices and decisions you make at a crossroad is up to you and up to them, whoever is who in this read. My goddesses, what lay before them on the path just around the turn here, should they embrace this Shakti, the life dancer, she who dances between the worlds, right, rebooting the major arcana with the Dreamer, the Fool, and the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. What lay ahead of them? Heart, third eye, crown. For the Capricorn Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and Cross Watchers watching this video, receiving this reading. Reversal, which is the Hanged Man, a voluntary sacrificing of a point of view. But Heart, third eye, crown, this is also about surrendering to the will of the divine. Surrender your will to the divine is the sacred truth of the throat chakra, according to Carolyn Mace. These are her archetype cards. Anatomy of the Spirit, throat chakra chapter. So I'm going to say, with this element of fire underneath here, there is a surrender, but do understand there is such a thing called active surrender. Scripturally, it's thy will be done, but you can add to it, use me. Use me. Make me your channel of guidance, grace, love, power, wisdom, true love, sass, style. Right? Use me. Show me what to do. To use me, to do what you sent me in to do in this lifetime. Right? When everything in the world is so intense. And certainly with what's going on in Ukraine and in Europe at this point, at the time of this recording, again, you could be watching this years from now, with the invasion and all of that, any love we can bring to the planet right now is going to help the unity show itself. Yeah? You want peace on earth? Then let it begin with me. Oh, look at me. I'm giving you St. Francis. Oh, the witch who knows scripture. Watch and wonder. Here we go. So this is absolutely a voluntary, like, hang yourself upside down, see things differently, let go. And you can't really see it in this card, but if you want to Google it, the card reversal, Daughters of the Moon Tarot, if you can see it. Her face above the water looks one way, right? A little like, it's easy to roll your eyes when you're upside down. I want to be remembered for that quote. But the reflection in the water you see is at peace and smiling. So there is another way of seeing this, but it's not just, oh, let me see this differently. Of course, I'm really feeling this reading is predominantly for the Alchemist. With this, getting this higher vision, right? Taking these base motives and turning them into golden wisdom, which feels like is on the table here. With this completion of a cycle, you get to see what the cake is like now that it's baked in a way. And then seeing it differently as a result. All right, great cross. Let's look at the staff, my goddesses. 7th position, the universal learning template, the lesson you would have them learn, or people call them negative influences, whatever. They can be delayed but not prevented. What would you have them learn in terms of heart, third eye crown on the path of true love? 9 of Wands, the wanderer in this deck. A Romani woman with her wagon and her donkey. Does she have a donkey? Oh, the donkey is implied, but you can't see it. No, I think she's pulling that thing herself. She's got her 9 flames, 9 wands, 9 of flames in this deck. And there's a sun, another element of fire, just over that hill. Whether it's rising or setting, we don't know. She does. And she's got to conserve her energy to get there. Right? That's why I was going to... right away. It's like I got a boo-boo on my head, don't touch my wands. sounds like we could build a wrap around that for summer wrap around. Yeah. Sorry, I just had a fashion week flash the wrap dress. I have to remember who, I can't remember. I suck at names, even designers are that horrible. No, it wasn't Saint Laurent. It'll come to me. Guides, my fashion guides fill me in. I met her, I think. Whatever. So this is your internal stuff is saying you're allowed to be a little defensive, a little protective, a little boundaried here in terms of your will and desire, because not all who wander are lost. You may not know exactly where you are and what you want every single step of the way. Diane von Furstenberg, thank you very much. Thank you, right? I think comment if I'm wrong, because I'm okay if I'm wrong with that, because I suck at names. I met Heidi Klum once, and she ate blueberries in front of me. It was cool. Nice to meet her. Beautiful woman, obviously. So this 9 of Flames, really, really getting that there's a momentum in there too, but you're not all the way home yet. And the 10 of Flames in this deck is the Hora Hava Nagila. It doesn't have that same burden that we see in the traditional tarot. It's actually more about completing a cycle of fire. Oh, and with this impetus, there's your 10th flame. Let's look from the outside, looking in, vibing in, horizontal trajectory. How does the world see this, the path of true love for the Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs and cross watchers watching this video, receiving this reading? Heart, third eye crown dynamic. Your second 9, that's good. 9 of Pentacles, Malama. Now, the 9 of Pentacles is a really good card for an earth sign, particularly inside, because it is saying you've got healthy, stable interdependence, or at least you're good on your own, right? Lady with the falcon in the garden. Hello, little bird. killers that they are. That's why they have to hood them. The Lady of the Manor, I call her. She's got her own. She's not dependent on somebody that way. So there is a sense of strength and stability within whoever this reading is for, the Judge or the Alchemist. But that would make sense with that Nine of Flames. Earth fuels the fire. So you have a nice numerological double whammy there. I like that. So it doesn't feel like you're going, well, you're Capricorn. You're probably not going to sacrifice your boundaries, right? Your honor code. You do it slow and steady wins the race. Better to wander than run into something you know doesn't feel right. Even a conversation with a friend or a family member or a boss or a coworker or whatever, right? To see this differently. And really, according to A Course in Miracles, the true prayer for a miracle is, Spirit, help me see this differently. I mean, Odin plucked out an eye to get the runes. I mean, it's the least we can do. So literal. All right. To me, the most important card in the Celtic Cross, the ninth position, please, the fate and destiny, what they most fear and what they most hope for. Oh, they most hope for their highest destiny to manifest, but we're absolutely shit scared, terrified about what we're going to have to do to manifest it. So where are they on the path of true love in terms of alchemizing their fate into destiny? 10th house Capricorn, highest potential, very much about destiny in this path of true love read. Well, interesting. Another court card, the Leo card, the Mother of Flames, Chantico, the opposite side of Aquarius. Right, so this would be the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords. And again, internally, this is speaking again about element of fire. This is your third fire card. I see 2 earth. I see 1 water. And I see 3 major arcana cards. So you've got a balance of 3 fire and 3 spirit so far. So this is about creativity and good fortune. Get creative. Get creative, right? 5th house. It's 5th house is the fun house. It is. It's the astrological kitty cat fun house. Leo rising. I'm the fun one. Mars conjunct God help us all. Goddess as well. You need that fixed fire. You know, if you're going to bake something, you can't have it at like 350 degrees for 20 minutes and have it spike to 10,000 degrees and for 5, you know, it's cremation at that point. And you don't want to do that to the cookies. So, you know, what is burning inside of you? What are you yearning for? What are you creating? What is your part in creating this heart, throat, third eye crown? Well, it's saying with that Leo energy, fixed fire, to really focus on what you yearn for, what you burn for, what your heart's desire, not just what you want, why you want it. As you surrender your will to the divine and say, look, this is what I want. This is why I want it. I mean, this is essentially spell casting, right? You take your what and your why, and you get your timing and your carriers, you write the spell, and then you go, let's hope, right? Let's have faith. Let's cast as much love, wisdom, and power that we can. But it's why it's called spell casting, not spell choke the crap out of, strangle, smother the crap out of. So you have creative say here. And again, I'll say if I didn't say before, if you got any planets in Aquarius or Leo, I would look at them, even if they're not Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, because they could be opposing or conjuncting or sextile or square or, you know, your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Which is very Capricorn to look that stuff up. Very Virgo too. All right. Last card of the Celtic Cross, and we're going to get 2 Whispers of Love Oracle, one for the Alchemist, one for the Judge, and of course we're going to end it with a Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck, because that's really all you have to remember for the reading. If you just remember that, it encapsulates all of it somehow in ways we don't see sometimes till later. And my guest star. Little feline cameo. You just can't see him as well on this one. You lay down, sugar pie. Mama's almost done. I love you. He's such a butterball, my Taurus. Oh, look, 3 earth signs. Yay. Banner day on planet Earth. On the tube of you. My goddesses, please, last card down for the Celtic Cross. What is the most probable outcome to the timeline of this lifetime for the Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video, receiving this reading? Should they deal with that world card, right? That's really the crossroads above and below with that Ace of Flames on the inner. It's a seed of fire. You don't know what to do with it just yet. So what's going on for her third eye crown here? How does this chapter, this scene, this part of the album conclude with the Two of Cups? Now look, Two of Cups isn't always romantic sexual, right? It can be a mutual thing. Externally, internally, it is about kind of juggling and balancing that. Like when you are emotionally drawn to someone, the whirlpool, I think, is such a good metaphor for regardless, but particularly the romantic thing, you know. Two cups dropped in at the opposite ends of a whirlpool will eventually meet, but in the most circuitous way, right? Until they finally meet in the middle, and then they got sucked down. So I'm glad somebody is in this Capricorn read. So, you know, how you view this in the future is going to be key. So, it's a good place to land if you want. Certainly, if this is a romantic thing, that you're really getting, this Alchemist and this Judge is a romantic contract. But even if it's not, if it is family, friend, whatever, you're coming out of this with a more loving, but initial stage loving place. I get that vibe. So, higher selves of all involved. We're gonna get one each from the Whispers of Love Oracle. Please take a nice deep breath. And find that still point. As I call upon the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, what is the whisper of love for this Alchemist and this Judge and this Capricorn Collective and cross watcher, right? The Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. The Alchemist with Aquarius on the inner. Please leave that card in my hand on the path of true love. Choose love for the Judge. Also on the path, crossing their path, we've got love who you are. Aww, let's look. So the Alchemist, that Ixchel, Eagle Woman, higher stratosphere POV, with choose love, you always have a choice as to what you should do. Even though the lesson is to conserve your energy here and see it from the higher place, if you are the Alchemist in this, it feels like you're the one who's making, obviously, the choice. But for you to choose love, no matter what that is, doesn't necessarily mean you get what you want. You get what you need. Sometimes choosing love is saying, I have to walk away from this. Right? So that's why I don't want to, just say, oh, you're going to absolutely get what you want. Oh, next week. Definitely. It doesn't work like that. But love who you are for the Judge. If they are really shook, what is the chances of a Judge archetype being really critical on themselves? It's a different take on it. We think of it as being so externalized, right? But using their own power against themselves. Love who you are. You are a divine and wonderful person, deserving all of the wonderful things that life has to offer. That is a judgment call, isn't it? Well, even though it's true of all of us, I know. All of us, wow, well, it ain't unity if we leave anybody out, but that's at our core. We got a lot of conditioning and a lot of stuff under there, so maybe this earthquake reveals some of that, bringing them eventually to the Six of Pentacles. Remember, we got another tarot deck at the table in the extended. So love who you are. Hold on one second. Melky! It seems like every other day he does this when I'm on camera. He's like, I want your attention, and I want this, whatever it is that he wants. And now he's about to tip something over. Taurus, I have the next deck in my hand. I think we pretty much covered that anyway, right? The Judge, love who you are. You're a divine being. And, that would totally be for this, see things differently, right? Sacrifice some beliefs, some points of view here. And that earthquake is happening for them, not to them. So let's get the healing mantra. Now really, no matter who's watching this, healing mantras help. They really do. Please take a nice deep breath. Oh, that feels nice. That feels peaceful. As I call upon the Ascended Masters of the Path of True Love, please, one card, the perfect healing mantra for the Capricorn Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and Cross Watchers watching this video, receiving this reading. This Alchemist and this Judge. The Alchemist choosing love. The Judge loving who they are. What is the perfect healing mantra? Make it specific. Make it really make sense to who's ever watching this in this timeless path of true love. Read. Awakening inspired action. There's only what life is asking about me. This is about fulfilling destiny. So there's only what life is asking of me. Awakening inspired action. So yes, you could be inspired to key someone's car. That's not what we're talking about. Be inspired to bop someone in the nose. And I don't mean boop, I mean bop them in the nose. That's not what we're talking about. Not on the path of true love. Oh, you may want to. And you're allowed to want to. You just don't burn down the village. You got to feel those feelings anyway, because 9 times out of 10 it has nothing to do with the person you want to bop. Bop. Oh my God, I just Hansen does. Awakening inspired action. There is only what life is asking of me. When you awaken inspired action, you are an open, willing participant in your soul's journey. You are ready, willing, and able to face any feeling or make any necessary change, just for the chance to serve the cosmic plan of the universe. And what you think, your relationships aren't written into that? It's how we learn. And the funny thing is, looking back, right, Wheel of Fortune, it's all written in. We can't screw up the divine plan. Nobody is powerful enough to fuck up the divine plan. Yeah, even what's going on in the Ukraine on something, we don't have to like it, we don't have to agree with it, but in hindsight, we see it. Always, right? It just always. And it sucks, but not from the point of view of being an eternal soul that incarnates over and over and over again. Just saying. When inspired action has been awakened, you radiate higher frequencies of light for the well-being of all, which honestly is what the path of true love is. Gradually, the alchemy of it. This mantra is ideal for overcoming self-sabotage, could easily be the Judge here, resolving boredom, and increasing fulfillment. And who can't use that? Let me put this together in a summation with a blessing. Then we'll talk a little bit at the end. Cool? Please take a nice deep breath. Because then I'm over to Vimeo, Patreon. Breathe. Clear that third chakra. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine to please bless the Capricorn Collective and the Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and Cross Watchers with all that they need on the path of true love, that this alchemist can transform base motives and goals into golden wisdom, and this Judge can balance justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power, particularly within themselves, because the alchemist may be seeing things from a very, very high vibrational, spiritual, maybe even mystical, but right, third eye mental point of view, sacred knowledge, the grace of knowledge in the third eye. The Judge, having this 5 of Pentacles inside of them, help them get the best and the most they can out of that earthquake, so that their wisdom really, really rises up and balances in the 6. With this new impetus, this new spark, this new creation hanging down in the subconscious there, with coming from a place of something that was destined, written. You couldn't change it if you wanted to, and you played your role perfectly. You may not see it that way unless you got the altitude to see it, because crowning this is a graduation, a celebration, a closing of a cycle. Spiritually, all chakras. I'm moving forward, of course, into then the impetus of the new, which is still subconscious at this point. But what will be necessary as that is done is the releasing, the seeing things of it differently. The card of reversal, reversing oneself to see things, and a sacrifice of usually a point of view, but here heart, third eye, crown, because their lesson is to be the wanderer, but to have clear boundaries. You're almost there. It's just over that next hill, but that next hill may look very, very far away, or not that far away. It's all part of the plan. And to know that they are coming from a place of solidity with that 9 of Pentacles on the inner, looking at this, it's like they are almost there, but they are stable, they are strong, would make sense with that universe card hovering, right? Almost at the 10, almost at the 10. That's hovering there. And it is how they choose to create their reality, particularly psychologically, mentally, emotionally, to choose throat chakra thoughts that are loving, right? For themselves, to see things from that higher perspective almost guarantees that if they're willing to do the work, and so that they can end at least this chapter in a place of 2 of Cups, maybe a nice emotional balance in the sense of, yeah, okay, let's swirl. Well, that means something different now than it used to. And so that the Alchemist can really choose love. It feels like this is the one that's going to have the impetus once that Ace of Flames begins to manifest. They always have a choice as to what they should do. And for this Judge archetype going through the earthquake, they're a divine and wonderful person deserving all of the wonderful things that life has to offer. And that deserve comes down to a judgment. Do I deserve it or not? Do they deserve it or not? Weal or woe, happiness or sadness, wealth or poverty, do they deserve it? We're all divine beings and we deserve the best. And that's why may they awaken the inspired action, because there is only what life is asking of them: to heal, to grow, to learn, to act, to love, to help transform this world for the well-being of all and with harm to none. As we will it, so let it be done. So would it be. A very powerful reading there, and it doesn't surprise me with the Alchemist. Lead is an insulator, and it doesn't move energy, it stops it. Gold is a conductor. Do the alchemy, Alchemist. And Judge, I get it. Be gentle with yourself. That's part of the path of true love, big time. So did you like it? Like it. Consider it a global public service to hit the thumbs up to help the other Capricorns learn this, heal this. There's only what life's asking of us, ultimately. And if you want more of me here on YouTube, subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I am putting out these readings when they are ready, not breaking my back anymore, trying to crank out content. I'm a sacred artist, as a matter of fact. Expectro Petronius, patreon.com /drawing the circle. Come play with me on Patreon. Having a lot of fun over there. I love the community I'm building, and we're getting there, building slowly but steady. Wins the race, right, Capricorns? And certainly if you want to book a private reading with me, there is a link in the description box. Booking a reading with Mel video here on YouTube explains the process, then you know how to do it, what happens before, during, and after, right? How I roll, how I work as the professional witch that I am. But most importantly, wishing you the very, very best and the very, very blessed on this path of true love, regardless of whether you are the Alchemist or the Judge. Hang in there. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.